Well, of course, we're now going to have a conversation with Francis, who's going to bring us the latest in terms of what was done round about the business issues for the day.
So day 2 of the Zondo Commission and calling the first witness to testify in this very important inquiry on state capture. To discuss, we're joined by SABC reporter Liabo Setho, who was there today. Great to have you with us, Liabo. So still no fireworks?
Absolutely no fireworks, but so in the beginning of the commission, it was explained to us that Mr. Mathebula, all he was meant to do was give us how the procurement system works within National Treasury, what is done, what is not done, what the challenges are, what the loopholes are, which is what he indeed went on to do. So is it clear to you, and do you believe to everyone who is there, how this all works or how it's meant to work? Absolutely. So it was very technical, but he went into great detail. He helped us understand the legislation that governs procurement systems, how much government spends, what the challenges, as I said earlier, are with regards to procuring, government procuring goods and services from suppliers. So I think he went into reasonable detail in helping us understand the nature of his work and the role of that office. The fact is government spends billions, so somebody wanting to fleece the state would look there. 800 billion is not cheap, Francis. Yeah, 800 billion is a lot of money. And yes, I think those who have had the opportunity to fleece the state may have been brought on or called on by that 800 billion plus to say, look, there's enough money there, let's see what we can do. But this is national government procurement, where we know there's weakness maybe in the state-owned entities, a lot of claims there, municipalities. True. So is that the back door, I guess? It seems like it is, because everything has to be approved by National Treasury. So if there's a tender that goes to a tender that goes out, it has to be approved by National Treasury. So that would be the back door. But of course, they have the muscle to say yes or no whether a tender can go ahead, and also there's whole issue of deviations and expansions, which we'll talk about. So tell me, why are those important? So in the legislation makes provision for tender to deviate or to be expanded. So what that means is that if a certain tender is late, or if a certain tender does not meet certain requirements, a deviation can be made through the office of the procurement officer for the tender to go ahead. And then he obviously reserves the right to say yes, it can go ahead, and or no, it cannot go ahead. With regards to expansion, that means that, you know, once a contract has come to an end, you can apply for it to be extended, which gives rise to contracts such as evergreen contracts, which go on for forever. But once again, the advantage is that the office of the procurement officer now reserves the right to say yes or no. In fact, it's so transparent that when you go on the website, you're able to see which state organ or government department has made an application for a deviation or an expansion, of how much, what the contract is worth, and the duration of the contract, and the reason for the contract. All right, so what next for the Zondo inquiry? So the fireworks you were waiting for, we're only getting them on Friday. The former Deputy Finance Minister, Jonas, is going to be giving his testimony. Remember, there was that big scandal of him being offered money by the Guptas, which he in turn reported it to the then Finance Minister, and it was a big blow up. So we're expecting that we will find out who did what, that gave rise to, or that allowed for state capture at that time. So that is when we will be getting all the juice. All right, so no doubt South Africa will be watching. So the Zondo inquiry picks up again on Friday. Thank you very much. That was SABC reporter Liabo Setho.